By the end of this video, you'll learn how to set up a workflow on n8n which adds high-impact captions to your videos and posts it on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or other socials automatically. This workflow is perfect for those who want to save hours editing and captioning videos and scheduling social media content. I'll also share a ready-to-use n8n template that you can download for free below. If this sounds interesting to you, let's dive right in. By the way, if you're new to n8n and are wondering what it is, go check out my earlier videos where I'll guide you step by step on how to get set up on n8n. n8n is a no-code automation tool that allows you to integrate your workflow, AI agents, and a myriad of tools that are available out there. So go and check them out. So starting out with the workflow, I just want to show you what the end product looks like when we're done with the entire workflow. So this workflow is going to be triggered by a Google Drive trigger. So the idea is we're going to upload the video that you want captioned and posted on Instagram or TikTok or any other socials that you want it to be posted on into a specific Google folder. And once you do that, it's going to trigger the entire workflow and it's going to take the file, which in this case, the video file, and post it to a tool called Submagic. And Submagic basically is the AI tool that automatically detects the audio in your videos and intelligently apply high-impact captions to those videos so that it's going to be TikTok or Instagram ready. And we're going to call the Submagic API here. And for those of you who are not sure what API is, don't worry about it. It's simply a way to communicate with external tools. And we're going to walk you through step by step on how to do that. And once you do that, what you want to do is the typical wait loop, because Submagic is going to take a couple seconds or minutes, depending on how long your video is, to spin up the results. So we want to make sure that the workflow doesn't break down, that it waits, it loops and waits until it gets the video output with the caption. And then that goes into another tool we call Postiz, which is a social media posting or scheduling platform, which I've covered in my previous videos, and I'll link it up here and down below as well. So essentially what Postiz does is it takes a video and queue it up in a Postiz database, make sure that it could go up to Instagram, TikTok, and your social media accounts seamlessly. And right before it does that, it's going to go into a caption agent. And you might be wondering, we already had a caption generated here, so why do we need another caption agent? Well, this is actually the caption agent for the text caption that's going to come on your post, right? So for Instagram, for instance, you would have captions that within the video in the Reels, which looks like this. And then you're going to have captions that comes with the Instagram post itself, which looks like this. So once that's done, it's going to post it on Instagram. And again, this could be TikTok or YouTube Shorts or any other social media platform that you want to post it on. So now we're going to build that from scratch. The first node we want to hit here is Google Drive trigger node. And here we want to choose the on changes involving a specific folder. So again, it's a specific folder within the Google Drive, which we're going to upload the videos into. And for those of you who are not sure how to connect your Google Drive account to your n8n instance, well, I've covered that in my previous video. I'll link it up here and down in the description below as well. But in this case, what we want to do once we have the Google Drive account connected, we want to be able to choose a folder. And in this case, the folder is called the Submagic video folder. And it looks like this in my drive. It's an empty folder. It's called Submagic video folder. So we're going to go ahead with that. And that's the folder to watch. And what are we watching for? We're watching for a file created, because that's when a video file is uploaded to the folder and it's going to trigger the node. And in this case, just before I fetch the test event, what I want to do is just upload a video. In this case, it's called the generate videos from text through Telegram video. So it's a short snippet of me speaking to the camera about how to build a workflow that allows you to generate videos from text. And actually, it's part of my shorts for my previous videos. And if you're interested to check that out, I'll link it up here and down below as well. And as we're doing that, you also want to make sure that your folder is set to a public settings, because otherwise, when you upload it to Submagic, it's not going to be processed. So just a little note to make sure that you set the permission level to anyone with link as viewer before you move on. All right, so upload completed. This is a video in the folder, in the Google folder, and we're going to go back to our workflow here, and we're going to just fetch test event. And there we go, it's fetching the event here. And just to make sure that it's actually fetching the right video. So there we go, generate videos from text through Telegram on n8n, which is the title of the video, which is also the description of what's happening in the video, right? A short description. All right, cool. So we've got that test event. So the second node we want to hit here is the HTTP request node. And again, this is basically the generic request node when you want to call an API for external tools. And again, if you're not sure what an API is, it's essentially a way to communicate with external tools. You can think of it that way. And what we're doing here from n8n is we're making requests to Submagic to process the video and add captions into the videos. So from here, the next thing you want to do is head over to submagic.co/API, and it's submagic.co, not .com, because submagic.com is a different website altogether. As you might notice, I'm going to the API documentation page and not necessarily the main page for submagic.co, because we'll go over there later on to get the API key. But for now, essentially what we need is the documentation here, and we're going to scroll down to the curl request command here. And what you want to do is just copy this entire chunk, and don't worry if it looks complex right now, but we're going to go back to the HTTP request here. We're going to hit import curl, and we're going to just paste the entire curl command right here. All right. And we're going to walk you step by step as to what it all means in a little bit. So basically, we're calling this particular URL endpoint, and this is basically where Submagic receives all the requests that you want. In this case, it's a request to Submagic to add captions to the videos. Now, in order to make that request, obviously they need to authenticate you. They need to make sure that you're either a paying customer or an authorized customer at Submagic. So that's where the authentication comes in. So in this case, we want to choose generic credential type under authentication, and under generic auth type, we want to choose header auth. And I already have my credential here set up for Submagic, but I'm just going to set up a new one just to show you how that's done. All right, so I'm just going to call that Submagic auth. And for the credential fields, we have the name and value. Now for the name and value, we want to go back to the documentation and basically look at this particular line here. So this is the line where the credential is supposed to go. And as you can see, it has the header, which is the x-API-key. And we want to copy that. We're going to go back here, paste that. And the value is essentially the API key that you generate from Submagic. And this is where you want to go to submagic.co. Again, it's .co, not .com. And if you don't already have an account set up, you can hit try for free and get your account set up basically. But for me, I already have an account set up, so I'm going to hit login. And once you do that, you're going to go into the dashboard where all the videos that you've previously uploaded will be shown here as a project. But where we want to go here is really the integrations. And we're going to go to the top right-hand corner here, which says manage API key. And if it's your first time on Submagic, it's probably going to say generate API key. So we're going to hit that and go to the API tab. Right now, I already have an API key set up, so it's going to show my previous API key, which is blanked out. But if it's your first time, this is probably going to be blank. So I'm going to just hit regenerate key. I'm just going to copy this key, and obviously I'm going to revoke it afterwards, but copy that key and go back to here and just paste it in, and I'll show you, as expression, so you can see that it's just the API key going in here. I'm going to hit save. All right, so that credential is saved. And I'm going to just rename this just to make sure that I know which one to switch to demo. Okay, and hit save. All right, cool. So now that the credential is connected, what we want to look at here is the headers portion. And typically with the curl command, the headers is where the credentials go into. And because we already have that set up, we're going to toggle this off. And we're just going to focus on the body here. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty neatly categorized. We have title, which is my first video. So we can dynamically drag things from the Google Drive trigger, or just, add my Instagram video instead, right? We just name it that. And what this does is it basically will just name your video output as my Instagram video. And in terms of language, that's English, that's going to be captioned. Video URL, this is where it's going to grab that particular video URL. So what we want to do is just replace this with the web view link. So there are a couple of URLs here, so it might be a little bit confusing, but what you want to drag is really the web view link. And there we go. And under template name, this is basically the type of fonts and type of captions styles that's going to show up on your video. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as Hormozy 2 because, we're just trying this out, right? So everything's set up now. I'm going to hit execute step. All right, cool. So, that's being sent over successfully to Submagic. I'm going to name this node post to Submagic. Right, so this is basically the post request to Submagic. And the next node I want to hit here is really the wait node. And the reason why we want to wait is because Submagic is processing it right now, and it's going to take some time for it to produce the output. So we want to wait, let's say 15 seconds. It's arbitrary. You can put 10 seconds or 20 seconds. It really depends on how long your video is. But essentially what we want to do is once we wait, we want to make another HTTP request for the result or the video. In this case, the URL endpoint that we want to hit is to go back to the documentation and go to get project. And basically this is the endpoint that you want to hit. So actually what you can do is you can see on your top right hand corner here, you can just copy the curl get command, even though it's just 2 lines. We're going to go back here. We're going to just import the entire curl. So that's get to this particular endpoint URL. Now we want to make sure that we change this project ID, which is at the back here, this long rule format. And we're going to replace that with our actual project ID. Sorry, just before I drag that in, I need to toggle that to expression. I'm going to drag that ID in here and drop it in. All right, so that's just going to call that correct project ID, which is our project ID, to get the video that we want and not some other video. Cool. And then again, we already set up the authentication earlier. So the beauty of that is once you set up the authentication, you don't need to do it twice. So we're going to pick the same header auth, which is the Submagic auth demo. And because we already have the credentials pre-set up, we can actually toggle off the send headers and we can just hit execute step and see if the video is ready. All right, as you can see, the status here is still processing. So what we want to do is we want to introduce an if node. And the reason for that is if you think about the logic and the architecture of this workflow, when you try to get the videos and the video is not ready, it's going to break the entire workflow because it essentially wouldn't be able to get a result. So what we want to be able to do is to grab the status here and drag it into the if node. And we're basically saying if the status is equals to, and we want to make sure it's strings, yep, it's equals to completed, which is what happens when the video is completed, then it's true. So then when it's false, we want to, which is all the other scenarios, whether it's processing, whether it fails, etc., we want to have it lead into a wait node. So it's 15 seconds wait, another 15 seconds wait, basically, right? And we're going to drag it back into the get request, right? Now I'm going to rename this get result request. Okay, so what's happening here is that it's going to try to get the video, and if it's still processing, which means that the status is not completed, it's going to go to the false node, which is 15 seconds wait, and then it's going to try to get the video again, and then if it's ready, it's going to go into the true branch, and we can move on with the workflow. So I'm going to run that, so it's false because it wasn't ready, so it's going to wait another 15 seconds here. All right, and then it goes back to the loop, and let's see, this time it comes out, it's still processing, so it's still going to go into the false branch. I'm not going to run it again because I'm just going to wait a little bit longer until it is done processing and it says completed. But as it's doing that, we can start building the next node actually, which is another HTTP request node, but in this case, it's just a download node. And what this does is when that all is completed, it's going to output data. And one of the data is going to be the URL where we can download the video that's been generated, right? So we'll wait for that before we drag it in. And while we're waiting for the caption to be appended by Submagic, I also wanted to show you what the original video that I've uploaded looks like so that you can, see for yourself what the result is, right? Send a picture on Telegram and boom, AI turns it into a video. No editing, no tools, just one smart workflow that takes your idea and auto-generates high-quality video content right from your chat. Okay, so as you can see, it's an Instagram shorts of myself, talking about a video that I've made in the past. And yeah, it's just about 15 seconds, and that's going into Submagic. So now the caption has been processed. You can see the transcription status is completed, which means we can move ahead with the next node. And let's go back to the download node here. And on the download node, basically what we want to do is we want to get a video in a format that is easy for us to process and to upload into Postiz. So what we want to do is to just download it as a binary format. So what we do is just drag the download URL into the HTTP node, and it's still just a get method. And there's no authentication required because this is a public URL. So we're just going to hit execute step. As you can see, there's a data been downloaded, and there we go. That's the video that has been processed with those captions. And it looks something like this. Send a picture on Telegram, and boom, AI turns it into a video. No editing, no tools, just one smart workflow that takes your idea and auto-generates high-quality video content right from your chat. And if you find this tool useful and you want to take it for a spin, you could use a coupon code AutomateWithMark for 10% off. To me, it's super useful to automatically add captions onto my shorts, my YouTube shorts, my Instagram reels. And I just like how the fonts are super impactful with the colorful designs and styles. It really captures the attention of your audience. So let's get back to the workflow. And the rest of the workflow is exactly the same with what I've done in my previous video when it comes to auto posting through Postiz. So I'm not going to run through every single one of them, but like I said, I'm going to share the entire workflow template down below so you can just download that and start using them. But in this case, I'm dragging these 4 nodes right here, and don't worry, I'm still going to go through node by node with you, just so you know how to kind of build it up. So we're just going to connect the download node right here onto the upload to Postiz node. And when you connect it, what happens is that, as you can see, this is the post method, which is essentially the same method that we did to post the request to Postiz. But in this instance, what we want is for Postiz to schedule or post our videos onto Instagram and any other social medias that we so choose. So we already have all of this set up. And again, I've run through how to set this up with Postiz in my previous videos. I'll link it up there and down below as well. But in this case, we already have the endpoint URL, which is very similar with what we did with Submagic. And under authentication, we have the generic credential type, header auth. We have the body here, and basically we just set it up as a binary file and we're downloading the data. So we're gonna hit execute step there. So now it's uploaded to Postiz. This doesn't mean that it's been uploaded to Instagram or TikTok or your socials that you want. This is just basically uploading it to a Postiz database, which is whitelisted by the social media platform so that the videos can be posted onto those social media platforms seamlessly. So in this case, what we want to do is to have all these information go into some form of a log. And in this case, it's just a simple log that looks like this, video name, description, timestamp, and status. And I'm going to hit execute step here. So these are variables that I've dragged from the previous notes. But essentially what's important here is that we get the video name and the description, because this is what our text caption agent is going to work on to come up with the Instagram or TikTok captions. The timestamp is just for us to keep a record of, and then the status simply says it's uploaded to Postiz, which is what it is right now, right? So when that's done, what you want to do is you want to go to the caption agent, and as you can see, the prompt or the user message is essentially the name of the video and the description. So one little thing to note is to be descriptive in terms of how you name your original file or your original video so that the caption agent could actually come up with the appropriate captions for those. Now, this is just an easy workaround. This is by no means the best practice in doing so. I'm doing it this way because I just want to make sure that it's a simple workflow, so it's easy for a beginner level to build. Otherwise, if you want to include, sort of the caption information, etc., the workflow is going to look a little bit more complex. So this is just kind of a theoretical build of how just everything works together, right? So we're going to hit execute step here. Again, under the system prompt, I've just given it some very standard system prompt. You're an Instagram caption writer, etc. And you can essentially go to ChatGPT or any other LLMs to come up with a good, effective system prompt that comes up with a really good caption. All right, so as you can see the output here, text to video through Telegram with n8n, cool. All right. So once that's completed, we're ready now to post onto Postiz or Instagram. So we're gonna hit execute step here. Simply, this is posting it to this endpoint URL, taking all the videos, and I'm not going to go through the JSON body here because I've already gone through it in my previous video, but we want to go into my Instagram and you can take a look kind of the end result of the videos that's been posted there. So toggling into my Instagram page, so you can see this is posted now, and boom, AI turns it into a video. No editing, no tools, just one smart workflow that takes your idea and auto-generates high-quality video content right from your chat. All right, pretty good. The caption could use a little bit of work, but that's something you could work on in the system prompt for the caption agent. Basically, that's how the entire workflow works. And just before we go, let's not forget to add another Google Sheet note. Remember, we want to update the sheet. And why do we want to update row and sheet? Because remember, we had this sheet here, which says it's uploaded to Postiz. So we want to change this to upload it to Instagram, because once the workflow is executed, basically it's going to go up to Instagram, right? So in this case, we're going to do update row, and from the list, we want to choose blocks of caption videos to publish, and we only have one sheet there. We're going to choose sheet 1, and we're going to match the video name and description portion. Okay, so from here, we're going to drag the video name, drop it right there, and timestamp, we're not going to change it, so we're just going to delete it. Status, we're going to say upload it to Instagram. Cool. All right, we're going to hit execute step, and we're going to go back to the sheet, and as you can see, it's just switched over to uploaded to Postiz to upload it to Instagram. So that's a quick one on how you can build a workflow on n8n to intelligently generate captions for your reels and videos that you post on your socials. and also have it automatically posted to the social media platforms of your choice. So if you ran into any issues in any part of the builds or have any questions regarding the workflow at all, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any ideas on what are the next useful workflows that you want to see me build, let me know about that as well. But as always, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.